Breaking news coming out of the 40 acres. Running back CJ Baxter in the first full padded practice for the Texas Longhorns of fall camp has suffered a knee injury. There are no reports yet of how significant it is. We're going to talk about it next. Before we dive into CJ Baxter and the Texas Longhorns offense, if you like what we're doing here at Campus to Canton, please hit that like and subscribe button. CJ Baxter was a highly touted freshman last year, came in and had some good moments for the Texas Longhorns. Definitely struggled to kind of make a name for himself, but I thought was going to have a massive 2024 season. Again, in the first padded practice for the Texas Longhorns, has suffered a knee injury. Now, as of 7:40 Central Time on August 6th, all has been reported is that they don't know the extent of the knee injury, but that he is going in for an MRI. So when you hear that, your mind immediately goes to this is not good news. However, we have seen these guys go in for MRIs and come back and reports are clean, no real tears. Maybe it's just a small tear and a sprain, but no significant knee damage. And we have not heard anything else. I believe Chip Brown of 24/7 Sports has even said, like, that's all that's been reported. As of 7:40, they just know that he has suffered a knee injury. There was no reports of him being carted off or anything like that. So we are in the dark a little bit about how serious this knee injury could be for Cedric Baxter. But again, when you hear going in for an MRI, you have to be a little bit worried about things. If he does have to miss significant time, I think the good news, if you're a Texas fan, is you've got a pretty good room behind him. You have Jayon Blue, the junior, one of the top-rated running backs in his class as well, listed at 6 foot, 198, and last year Real Analytics had him as the fastest player in college, clocked him at almost 23 miles per hour. That is ridiculously fast. We know that he's a good running back. He's very shifty, makes players miss in the open field, has good hands as well. I think he struggles a little bit running up the middle compared to CJ Baxter, but overall a very, very good running back. And if Baxter is going to be hurt and miss significant time, Blue should be able to step up into that role and produce that 1,000-yard back for Steve Sarkisian. If you go all the way back to his time as an offensive coordinator, head coach, whether it was at Washington, USC, Alabama, at the Atlanta Falcons in the NFL, he has always had a 1,000-yard rusher. I have no doubt in my mind that Jayon Blue can do that for this Texas Longhorns offense. So again, we don't want CJ Baxter to be hurt. He's an incredibly talented player, and I thought was going to be, again, in for a massive season this year. But if he is hurt and has to miss even a couple games or significant time, they have a great replacement in Jayon Blue to step up, who would have been the two anyways. Behind him is where things get interesting. They have Christian Clark, the true freshman, Trevor Wisner, the sophomore, who has been getting a little bit of love in the spring camp. And, they just opened fall camp, so I have not had a chance to see if they've talked about him at all. They also have true freshman Jarrett Gibson, who was a big get for the Steve Sarkisian team and Texas in this past recruiting class, and is a guy that a lot of people have talked up. I wonder if maybe he gets a shot. Now, I do personally think he is better than Wisner and Clark, so maybe we get to see some of him where we thought, with this year, if Baxter and Blue stay fully healthy, we're not going to see Gibson at all. Regardless, is a very talented room, a very deep room at the moment. So Texas fans shouldn't have anything to worry about. They still have an incredible offensive line and an incredible offense overall. I still think Quinn Ewers is in for a massive year this year with the moves that they have made at wide receiver as well. Their wide receiver room is extremely deep. This team is going to be very good if, and again, a big if, they do end up, unfortunately, losing CJ Baxter for a certain amount of time. I still think that they are going to be overall okay. We have their offensive line right now ranked as the 6th best offensive line in all of college football, according to the C2C Winning Edge. Number 1 quarterback room, number 3 wide receiver room, number 6 running back room. And I'm telling you, even with CJ Baxter possibly being down, that's not going to change much. So if you've got Jayon Blue, make sure to pay attention to the news. Was going to have a good year anyways, but you could possibly have just gotten yourself the starting running backs for Steve Sarkisian and the Texas Longhorns. Let's keep our fingers crossed that everything is okay with CJ Baxter. Make sure to stay tuned into Campus to Canton for all of your updates on all fall camp news, including CJ Baxter.